16th episode of season 1 of Clone Wars is about the title is The Hidden Enemy, and it is about the clone trooper who is a traitor. The clone war who is a traitor. He was giving he was giving an intel to the separatist side, and Obi-Wan and Anakin discovered it. Or even Cody and Rex discovered it, so another clone troopers. But the question of this episode is probably the most controversial of all to the public, and it is the question: are clone troopers slaves to Jedi's and to races of the Republic? Because in the Republic side, because separatists didn't use their own soldier. Rarely they use their own soldier or the soldiers within separatist races. They usually use they use droids produced in gigantic foundries, massive foundries, and of course droids are machines, so this is not a problem. They have some kind of intelligence, but it is very simple intelligence. And Republic forces use clones, and clones are far better in the battlefield than droids. But of course, the problem is that they have their own will. Yes, so they are a sapient race created, and they have their own will and they have their own way of thinking. So they are not as simple, as benign as droids. They think almost like all other races of the galaxy, and in this case specifically like other races of the Republic forces. And of course, the problem is that this trooper wanted. He felt like a slave. He felt like he needs to obey. I don't know the English word. To be under the rules and under the rule of Jedi's, because Jedi's are generals from the battlefield, and they plan, mostly Jedi's plan their tactics against separatist forces. And of course, Jedi's are a very ethical order. They advise non commitment to many things in the life, but they are not like Sith Lords who only want power and enslave those who are under them or weaker than them. Jedi's propose that this thinking of free will, of democracy, and so on. But obviously, clone troopers are almost like slaves to the Jedi's and to the races of the Republic forces. So this question was never asked very thoroughly and analyzed very thoroughly, but technically, the clone troopers are beings created by some of the one of the races of the Republic, but they are almost like slaves, because in the final chapters of Clone Wars, the clone troopers have some implants created in them, and these implants will assure Darth Sidious control over them. And of course, Darth Sidious is a Chancellor Palpatine. He's a Sith Lord. He's not a Jedi. But nevertheless, clone troopers must obey the orders of the Jedi Knights. And if they, for example, don't agree or didn't want just to participate in this war, they are seen or are treated almost or like traitors. And the Jedi's never ask these questions, even privately. For example, in the first episode of this first series, we have this private discussion between clone troopers and Yoda, but and Yoda tells them that for him. They are not just clone troopers, they are independent human beings and so on. But we see in this episode, Hidden Enemy, that if clone troopers if a clone trooper, because I think in the later episodes, because this situation is clearer, because here clone trooper was really a traitor. He gave intel to the separatist forces. But we will be having another episode, I think, in the second series, that when clone trooper just deserted. He just deserted because he wanted to be free. He wanted to have a family, so on and so on. Here the case is a little bit simpler, because this clone is obviously a traitor, but he betrayed the Republic because he felt like he's some kind of a cog in a machine, and the clones are really cogs. But of course, most of them didn't agree with this specific clone. They think that the fight for the Republic is, for example, also fight for their own Camino home planet where they were created. So it's not like all of them have this the same look at this case as this lone traitor clone trooper, but the case is still very controversial. And in spite of Jedi orders wanted to be democratic, peacekeeping, good looking, really this case of clone troopers is something very, very controversial if we want to see Jedi Order and the Republic forces as these liberal democracy leading forces of freedom. Let me know in the comments what do you think about this specific 15 episode. Should we say that clone troopers are really slaves or indentured service people to the Republic forces?